FM 99.3 KNSI. Time for Taking You Home with VoigtJohnson Real Estate. It happens every Thursday morning at 7:23. Saturdays also at 7:50 in the morning. Be sure you start your home search at VoigtJohnson.com. Brandon Johnson's in studio with us. Brandon, good to see you again.
Good morning. Good to see you too.
Cool. So last time we got together, we talked about some spring statistics. This time we're going to talk about some interest rates. Where are we right now? Just over 7, right?
We're plus or minus 7%. So
Okay.
we're up there, and it fluctuates. But what I want to talk about a little bit is knowing there are so many good loan products or options out there, and so it really is incumbent on us as agents, realtors, to advise our clients on seeking out the appropriate solutions.
Time for a good, very important disclaimer. You are not a lendor.
Correct.
You are a realtor.
Correct.
All right, so I want to make sure people don't get the wrong idea. You can help people find that lender.
Yes, and there are a lot of great local lenders here that, like I said, have a lot of good tailored loan products.
Sure.
Whether it's a first-time home or your forever home, which we talked about a little bit earlier. There's a lot of, it's not just the one of cookie cutter 3 conventional loans anymore. There are some really amazing loan products out there.
You know, one of the things that people may be surprised about to find out is rural development, right?
Yeah.
And based on the population of a particular community, like St. Joseph, you can qualify for RDA, Rural Development Assistance out there. I've spoken with a number of mortgage people, and they are more than happy to sit down and talk about all of these programs. You got to find the right person.
You have to know what questions to ask. So, for instance, rural development is a 0 down 100% financing, and it depends on a lot of things on your qualifications, but also primarily the physical location of the property.
Right.
So out of St. Cloud, so St. Joseph would qualify, Avon, Albany West, Becker, Big Lake, all of that, outside of St. Cloud proper. Minnesota Housing is a program. Minnesota Housing Finance Agency is a state agency that does a lot of down payment assistance.
Okay.
And there are a lot of great growing number of opportunities for that as well. But you get into, I'm just doing a loan here, there are physician-specific loans that give opportunities tailored to the needs of physicians. Physicians, a lot of them have the income, but may have a large amount of student debt that disqualifies them for more traditional programs.
Right.
So the thing is, just don't, depending on your situation, your employer, your line of work, ask questions that you never know what type of programs are out there specifically for you.
And I was surprised to find out that there are HRA lending programs for people that live in St. Cloud. And again, there are some, requirements that you have to fulfill and that sort of thing. But man, up to $5,000 out there.
Yeah, so what you're seeing advertised by lenders is interest rates primarily. That's kind of the headline of everything.
Yeah, that's the buzzword.
But again, if you're looking there are revitalization areas, which you talked about in the HRA, where if you buy a home in a specific area, St. Cloud, you can get monies towards repairs or renovations. So there are all sorts of different opportunities depending on the needs or your specific requirements.
Brendan, it's important to develop relationships, right? If you find yourself moving on in your life, you get a little older, you get married, you have kids, time to buy that house, all that kind of stuff. Develop the relationship, find a realtor, right? Like find a plumber, find an electrician. When you have that realtor, find the perfect lender that understands where you're going, what your needs are.
Yep, absolutely. And like you said, we always, Heidi Voigt's a good one for advocating. Most people have an electrician or a family plumber, and we pride ourselves on being the family real estate advisors.
Sure.
And we're just being here for you when the time is right. Not that we're necessarily here to sell you something today.
Right.
And that doesn't even mean we're here to sell you something. We're here to advise you on doing, market analysis on your homes, giving you advice on what to do to your home. So it's just being your consultant in the real estate industry, not necessarily a sales approach.
Well, when people are looking for a house, for gosh sakes, most often that is the largest investment they are going to make. It's very important that you have that realtor that you can talk about. Call them up at 10 o'clock at night, right?
Yes, and a lot of people take us up on that, unfortunately. But no,
I'm sure they do.
We are here all the time. weekends, evenings, all of that. But just like an accountant, just
Sure.
like everything else, everything is not as straightforward as it was even 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
There are so many dynamics that are constantly changing that just being aware of those sorts of programs is beneficial.
And, I know that you folks really pride yourselves at VoigtJohnson Real Estate in helping out so many families achieve that
Yeah.
goal, right?
Yep.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer, a fifth-time home buyer, or whatever. But the cool part about this also is the stories that start to get told about VoigtJohnson Real Estate. The fact that you have helped many families, the fact that generations, and they keep
Yeah.
coming back.
Yeah, no, and that's why we do what we do, is to be a pillar in the community. And so that's what makes it rewarding.
For sure. When you're able to look at, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, right? When you find that house, and it sounds really Norman Rockwell-ish, but it's really,
Yeah.
really true. After being one of those guys, right, that you put the pencil marks on the doorway where you measure your kids every year on that first day of school, all that kind of stuff, and you compare it to the last day of school and everything. Those are the kinds of dreams that families take with them for the rest of their lives, and that's what you guys do.
It is, and that's what is kind of our payday or rewarding dynamic of it. But it also goes the other way too. I just came from a showing here, and we talked about the low inventories, where I was showing a couple first-time home buyers, and it's home under 300,000 in Sartell, which those are few and far between.
Yes, sir.
And so to be able to say, and this home was under 300,000 because it was structurally fine, but it needed a lot of work. You know, windows starting to go,
Sure.
some deferred maintenance.
Right.
And so to be able to talk through them and say, guys, this home's likely going to sell for what it's listed at or more, simply because someone needs to be in a home
Right.
and there are no other options. I don't know that this is for you. So it's not just about finding the perfect home. It's about having that real conversation, knowing their needs, and saying,
Yeah.
guys, if you want to move forward with this home, you need to be aware of
Sure.
X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
that you're fully open to that. So it's about being open and transparent on the homes, and not just, you're not always going to find the Norman Rockwell
Right.
diamond in the rough on
Right.
the first showing.
Right.
So it's about having the real conversations, as well as knowing their wants and needs.
Absolutely,
going into it.
yeah. The worst thing is to be house poor, right? You want people in that home to have nothing but great stories to tell. Yeah, there was some work that needed to be done, but it allowed us to put our stamp on that home, right?
Yep.
This is now the Hughes house.
Yep.
Right?
And in the case of the couple that I was just referring to, they are in a very advantageous rental situation. So they're in no rush.
Yeah.
From a financial standpoint, because they have very good terms on their lease. So it's not something they need to do immediately to jump into a home that could need some work that they're not looking to do.
The good news, you can still get it done, right?
Yes.
Get a hold of the right realtor, the folks over at VoigtJohnson Real Estate. And again, taking you home Thursday mornings at 7:23, Saturdays at 7:50 here on KNSI. Brendan, how do we reach out to you guys?
VoigtJohnson.com or 320-774-2400.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Start your home search at VoigtJohnson.com. Taking you home, AM 1450, FM 99.3, KNSI.
Cool.